Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, I'm Craig Neeson. This is Craig Neeson Photography. My wife Shelley is somewhere up there behind me along with Sean and Corrine from Travels of Red Rover. I'll leave a link down below and a card up above for their channel. We just made it out here in time to witness some epic light, but not epic conditions, unfortunately. So let's see what we got.
So the cool thing is we're down in Oklahoma this week in the Wichita Mountains Wildlife Refuge at Treasure Lake. Here you can see an aerial view of the location that we're at. We got out there just a little bit too close to sunset for my taste, and we were all kind of scrambling around to find the best position. I decided to go a different way than the rest of the group. I went down on this nice little point where I had a V of Treasure Lake in my foreground and the mountains off in the distance. We had some gorgeous light. I shot this same composition in two formats. I did the landscape and I also did a portrait, which you'll see in a little bit after I talk you through the composition in the field. So here's the underexposed by 3 stops of the composition. Here's the base. To tell you the truth, I probably could have done everything with the base. We just got nothing in the sky every time we went out on this trip. It seems to be the reoccurring theme. Here's the +3 stops exposure of that scene. It gives me the ability to bring out more detail in the shadows. We're going to take the 3 here, the +3 on the right, the -3 on the left, the base exposure in the middle, and we're going to take those into Lightroom or Photoshop, and we're going to merge them as a raw HDR with no processing other than alignment turned on. That gives us the ability to have more dynamic range in the photograph. So here's the base HDR image as I was talking about. I love the leading lines in this, the way that this lake comes into a V and draws your eyes right up into those mountains, and that glow on the mountains was just awesome. Here's the raw on the left and the processed on the right. As you can see, the sky was pretty much a bluebird sky. The thing that saves this photograph in my mind is the quality of light throughout the rest of the image. It's not an epic shot, but it's hard to get those epic shots when you're only in a place for a limited amount of time and you want to make the most out of the location. Let me know what you guys think. I'd like to know if you like shot number 1 of this composition better or shot number 2, which I'm going to walk you through here in the field.
So let me walk you through the composition. I took this as a vertical and as a horizontal as well. So what we got here is some leading lines of rocks into, I believe this is Post Oak Creek. It comes off of Post Oak Falls when there's rain, and there must be a retention structure because they haven't had rain for a while. And I don't believe the falls is actually falling. The falls is somewhere way up in there. So we got the leading lines of the rocks taking you into this V of the creek and then into the mountains. And there was some gorgeous, gorgeous light just a few minutes ago, which I believe I got the photograph. So here's that photograph now.
So one quick correction. It's actually Treasure Lake, which is fed by one of the branches of Post Oak Creek, which does come off of Post Oak Falls. This is the portrait orientation of the same composition. I like this one better because it eliminates a lot of that annoying sky that really isn't there and isn't epic. It still shows the light on the rock formations in the foreground and the back. So we're going to take the 3 exposures, the +3, the -3, and the base exposures, as you see here on the screen. We're going to take those into Lightroom, and we're going to do an HDR merge on them. That gives me, again, a raw HDR file to work with. So I have better dynamic range than my D600 is capable of on its own. This is that raw photograph. Like I said, I like this one better because it minimizes the impact of that bluebird sky. It still gives us that quality of light that I was looking for on the rocks. It also tightens up the overall composition. Here's the raw and the processed side by side. You can see the sky is just lacking, but the rocks, the quality of the light on those rock formations is just perfect. I wish the lake would have been a little stiller. I probably could have done that by taking another image with a longer shutter speed, with some filters on, and smoothed out that lake. That would have been cool as well as some epic clouds in the sky. But as I said, we were only there for a limited amount of time, and we had multiple locations that we already knew we wanted to photograph in the area. This is the best we could get. Let's get that discussion going down below. Have you been in that situation where you know you can get that better, more epic photograph? Here are the photographs that Shelley came away with from that evening. In this one, you can actually see the rock formation off on the right there that I'm out on. I'm just not out in her image. I always work with the photographers you're out in the field with so that you don't impact each other's photographs unless somebody wants it. I love what Shelley was able to come away with, especially this intimate shot of this little cactus.
Okay, so I made it done a bonehead thing. We were shooting handheld all day, and I left VR or image stabilization on the Nikon, which means I have a 50% chance of both of my exposures being blurry. We'll see when we get back to the computer. You've already seen them, even if they were blurry. So just remember, when you're doing something that you normally don't do during the day, or you make a change to your settings that will affect you down the road, to change it back after you're done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't forget that. It's important.
Shelley, did you find anything out there?
Well, I found a couple of compositions that I think are going to look okay. We'll see. I mean, if they're good, we would have shown them already, but, you know, hard to tell. I did take a picture of a cool tree that I liked, but I wasn't entirely happy with the background because the lower half was in front of the rocks, so it made it kind of blend in, and the upper half was in front of a blank sky. So I don't know. It's not an award-winning tree shot, but I kind of like trees.
Well,
so,
part of my problem is that no clouds, but the light was perfect on the rock face, and I was right where I wanted to be, where I had leading lines of rocks into the scene and water in there to adjust a position of the dryness with the water. I just thought that was such a cool composition. Hopefully it turned out. As you can tell, I'm really bummed, but if it turned out, you're going to hear me being overly critical of me being overly critical already.
Which he tends to do a lot of.
Yeah, so you know how this stuff goes. So we were out here with Sean and Korean. They're walking around letting us do the exit. Go on over, check out their channel, Travels of Red Rover, see what their take on the location was. And if you haven't yet done so, please hit that subscribe button.
Down below.
Yep. Ding the bell for future notifications.
Ding!
And give us a big thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.